The other thing that perhaps you can also mention is your level of training, whether you have some prior knowledge on data, particularly the use of softwares like R and stuff like that, because it will really help us to know really the entry point of the training. So without any order, please, you can just unmute your mic and tell us something about yourself and also the expectations from the course. Please don't be shy. Just unmute your mic so that I can know about you. It's always
My name,
important that a teacher knows the students before before learning starts.
good afternoon. My name is Daniel Otieno. The prior knowledge I have on data analysis is on, I've already taken SPSS, Starter, and Advanced Excel. And from this course, I hope to improve my data analysis skill, be able to interpret and analyze data more in depth. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. And for the others, Laban, Ian, and Ernest.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yes, good.
Yeah, I'm Laban. Hey.
Yes,
Hey,
we can
do
hear
me?
you.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Laban.
Just go on.
Yeah, the level I've done is I've just done the beginners classes of SPSS, Starter, and the Advanced Excel. Yeah,
Okay.
what I'm hoping is that we are going to have the class a consistent flow because we have started this class more times, but we have not been consistent on the classes. Thank you.
That is noted. I think once we start, I think it will be consistent. We'll be having classes
Yeah,
as it has been scheduled in your class.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I would ask for improvement of the communication so that we can be here on time.
Yes.
Because we have some other arrangements some people we are making. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that is
you.
okay. We need to be keen on time. If the class starts at
Yeah.
2 p.m., then we be there at 2 p.m. so that you can also, participate in other engagements.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
good, Laban. Ian and Onyango.
Hello. Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
So I'm having some background noise. So I'm Ernest Onyango, and I recently completed my studies from the university. So basically, my expectation is to gain a practical knowledge on how to use R. I recently I have gone through the quantitative class, and so basically, I'm just here to broaden my knowledge and experience in data analytics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The other one is it Ian? Yes, Ian, and I think I can also see someone else has also joined. That's Solomon. Jane. We can start with Ian and then finally Jane, or vice versa,
Ian,
whoever is.
Ian, I think Ian is one of the trainers.
Or you are sharing your device with him. Okay. We can't hear. We can't hear you. We lost you, Ian. Okay, let's hear from Solomon.
Yes. So I just joined. I don't know what was the question or maybe what someone is supposed to say.
Oh, we are just introducing ourselves,
Okay.
just knowing what are the expectations of the course and whether you have some prior knowledge on data analysis and perhaps which softwares you have used before.
My name is Solomon Jane. Introduction ingine. Yeah, I've done a bit of data analysis. I've done SPSS, Starter, Advanced Excel. I'm still in a Python class. So yeah, I'm aware of hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my expectation in this class is that I want to learn more about data science. How I can use the knowledge that I will gain from this class to solve some problems relating to business organization, to NGOs, government, on personal issues. Yeah, solving problems and help organization make a proper decision.
Yes. That's okay. We also have another colleague, that's Catherine Wekesa. We were introducing ourselves. So you can say something brief about yourself before we start. And I think you are the last person.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Catherine Wekesa. My expectation is I have a little bit of background in terms of this area, so to see where I am and learn more new things and see what I can do with it in the workplace.
Okay. So for Catherine, do you have any training on any other software?
It depends with what exactly. Java, C++, VB.NET, VB, but those are old. I used to program long time ago, like in 2005
Oh, okay.
and 2006. So I haven't been to that space in a long while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who are joining, my name is Daniel Ndewa, and I'll be taking you through this course on data analysis, mainly on R, and I hope we are going to learn together. So I think now having done the bit of introduction, I think we can now start off. But then before we start, let me ask you, how many hours uh, um, is the session supposed to take? 1 hour, 2 hours? How long does the session take? Because this is my first class actually. 2 hours,
Yeah,
1 hour?
the corridor says 1 hour.
Yes.
1 hour.
1 hour.
According
Oh,
to
so
the
1
corridor
hour.
you are given.
Yes. And I think that would be sufficient, right?
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I think Ian, I've just texted. It's supposed to be 2 hours.
So it's supposed to be 2 hours.
Yeah, Ian just texted. Maybe check on the chat box.
Oh, yeah, we can find out that later if it is 1 hour. So I want us to go straight to R software. Then I do a little bit of introduction. We learn a few things. So in just a minute, I log on my software.
Sorry can I interrupt a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, I've just seen on chat that I was supposed to log in. However, my question is, there's also an evening class, right?
Yes, but for me, I'll be taking you through the class between 2 and 4.
Right. Because
Yes.
for me, it's a bit difficult. Right now, I'm actually at a client's place. I've just sneaked out to log in because I saw I'm tagged that I need to log in. So I needed to find out what's going on.
Oh,
So I beg to leave if you do not mind.
that's okay.
Because I need to check back into work.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
fine. That is quite understood, because mine
Okay.
will be 2 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, for the other classes, I don't know who will be teaching. I'm yet to
All
find out.
right.
Yes.
Okay. I'll find out with the administration.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. And bye bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye. So R Studio and R. Just a minute. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen from your side? Can you see my screen from your side?
Personally, I haven't seen it.
You can see it.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe.
No, not yet. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Let me share our sessions. And now?
It's okay. It's okay now.
Yes. So yesterday I was told that George introduced you to R, but I want us just to go through quickly. Usually there are two softwares. We have the R, the main software, which is called the R Graphical User Interface, RGUI, and then we also have the R Studio, which is a working interface. So there are two softwares, and I believe you have both of them in your machine. But for most of our coding, we'll be using the R Studio, which is easier to work with. So just a quick introduction to R, maybe a recap of perhaps what you learned is that R is used for many purposes. You can use it, for example, for data analysis, and you can also use it for for making of other plots, charts, and stuff like that. You can actually generate very high quality graphics with very high resolutions, which can be published in very high impact journals. So those are two for data analysis, but also for graphical purposes if you want to make charts, bar charts, and so on. It can also be used for modeling. If you want to build models like multivariate models, logistic regression models, binomial, and so on, different types of models that perhaps you want to analyze your data, you can use R for that purpose. And I believe we'll be able to go through some of these modeling bits, and that is in the future. That's maybe towards the end. And then apart from building of those logistic models, you can also use it for mathematical models. Mathematical models, if, for example, you are looking at, you want to understand some phenomena and you have some model framework, you can translate that into mathematical formulas and you key that information into R and build your models. And then it can also be used for spatial analysis. If you want to find spatial autocorrelation, or you want to find a spatial association between, let's say, a predictor variable and an outcome variable. That is, association between independent and independent variable. You can also do some spatial analysis. You can actually plot geospatial points and know a spatial distribution, how for example, what is the distribution of a given phenomenon. For example, if someone is looking at diseases, you can actually know how the disease is spread in a given area. However, for R, compared to other softwares, it is limited in this sense. That's in the case of spatial analysis. There are other softwares which can give you very nice spatial maps, like the QGIS and also the ArcView and so on. And sometimes you have to choose the right software for the right purpose. I would advise, if you are dealing with spatial analysis, perhaps you can consider other softwares and not R, although R can also be used for that purpose. I've actually used R for spatial analysis sometimes back. So those are just some of the applications for this software. I find it much better compared to SPSS because R is more interactive. So you interact with the software. You give commands to the software to perform specific functions. And again, it is also, apart from being interactive and being flexible, it gives you very nice analysis. In fact, R is not limited like other softwares like Stata or SPSS, where you have the codes already in the software. For this one, it is very flexible because you, the data analyst, you are the one who gives the R commands to do a specific functions. And one important thing about this software is that at the end of the analysis, you always remain with a script, the R script, like the one which is shown on our screen. And that R script, you can always run it in future if you want to get the same output, or so you are left with a copy of the analysis, a trail of what happened during the analysis, which is quite important. Because even for those perhaps who would aspire to be scientists in future and you are doing a publication, sometimes they come with some minor corrections and which might trigger you to do some more analysis or to change some analysis. So you can easily go to that script and identify the specific code for that particular analysis and do some amendments, some changes in line with the comments from the journal reviewer and so on. So it's a very nice software that most people nowadays are using. And one more advantage is that it is open source, so it is free. You don't have to pay for it, unlike SPSS and Starter. And it is actually a collaboration of many others. So there are quite a number of packages that we use in R to do or to perform a specific analysis. And these packages are always available without any charge. So, and the other thing that I should also mention about R is that there are so many codes online. If you Google, you'll be able to get a code maybe for performing ANOVA, for chi-square test, for t-test, and so on. So very many codes are available online. There are quite a number of websites where you can actually log in and also get these codes from contributions from other authors. So like I said, there are two softwares. We have the R graphical user interface, and we also have the R Studio. So there are two softwares, but in most cases, people use the R Studio, which kind of integrates with the main software and gives us a platform to perform analysis with ease. So let me go to the R user interface, and then after that, we'll go to the R Studio. So let me see, let me know if you can see the R graphical interface, the one which is displayed. The one written RGU 64-bit at the top. Are you able to see it? You can see it from your side. Okay. Please let me know, because then I know at times with the online classes, you might be talking to yourself. You can hear me?
Yeah, we can. What you are sharing in your screen?
Yes.
You are in a file.
I was in a file.
Yeah, you're still in a file from my side. I don't know.
Okay, okay. So let me change here. Stop sharing that. Then I share. How about if I share my entire screen? Maybe perhaps select. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me share the R interface, graphical interface. That's what I wanted to share with you. You can see it now. So so at times working with the R graphical interface is quite difficult. It is not like the R Studio where you can save the script. But how we do with this R graphical interface is that, let's say, for example, you want to do some simple analysis. So what you do is you go to File. So at the top there's File. So you click on File, and then you click on a new script on that, and then it will appear on the other side of the software. And then what you do is that on this side, this is where you type your code, and then you run it, and you'll be able to get the output on the other side. For example, and then the other information that you can also learn from the R graphical interface is the version of the R that you are using. For example, here I'm using version 3.6.0. which was developed in 2019. So you can actually learn more about the package of the software that you're using. So on this side where you have the R editor, this is where you type your code. Let's say I want to generate maybe a sequence of numbers from number 1 up to, let's say from number 1 up to number 20. So I'll write, in hard, we always use functions. So there's a function for every analysis. So for sequence, it's a SEQ, like that. And then you put into brackets. I want a sequence of number 1 up to number 20, like that. And then you run that. So to run this, you just highlight on this, and then there's this function, there's this command which is run line. So you just highlight and then you click on this, and you get your output on the console. This other side is called the R console, or the R graphical interface on this other side. So you can see here you have a sequence of number 1 up to number 20. So you see the R editor, you type, and then you get your output on this other side. Let's say, for example, let's say in this sequence, we want to save it. Sometimes this information, you can save it in what we call objects. I will explain more about objects when we get into RStudio, because that is very key. So let's say I want to save this information into an object, and I want to call it, let me call it X. So you put X, or maybe I should just copy this code down here, somewhere here. And then I want to save this information into, let's say, X. So I just put X. Then the sign that we use to save the information is this sign for less than, that one, and then you put a dash like that. So that sign, this one, it is the same as is equals, that sign for equals, stuff like that. So you can actually run this, and when you run this one, it doesn't give you the information like in the other case above there. And this is because the information for that sequence will be stored in an object, which is called X. So for you to see that information, then down here, you have to put X, and then you run it like that. And then you'll be able to get the same output, just like in the other case. So these are one way of doing it, but working with our graphical interface sometimes is quite challenging, and therefore most of us, we actually like using the RStudio, which is quite easy to use. So now having looked at the R graphical interface, I want us to move to RStudio, where we'll be performing our analysis. This was just, by the way, to show you how this main software can also be used for analysis without using the RStudio. So you can use actually this one to perform some additions, multiplications, and other simple analysis without necessarily using the RStudio. So I'll close this, not unless if you have any question. Any question before we move to the other interface software, the RStudio? There any question? And please, if I'm too fast, let me know. You can just raise up your hand and say, or maybe something that perhaps you want me to repeat, you can let me know. So if there is no any question, then let me just close this software and then now move to the RStudio. So I I don't need to save whatever I've written there, so no. Then I share the share. Let me share now the R, the software. Are you able to see the R Studio from your side? Can you see the R Studio from your side?
No. What I see is it is just your PC UR file, the one that was there before you switched on the other.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
We can see it. Personally, I can see it. You are still in my PC. That is your files.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me try to share it again. Okay, and share this. Select a window. And now? You can see it now.
No, not yet.
You can't see it, eh?
Yeah, you are still on your files.
Oh, okay. How come? Because for this one, I think it has this option of sharing a specific window, and that's what I'm doing actually. I've shared the R Studio sessions. Let me see whether you see it again. And now? I believe you can now see it. Eh?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So, so the first part is now what I was explaining about the applications of R, the various analyses which can be performed using this software, and therefore I don't want to go through it again. And then I've also shown you how to use the main software. That's the R graphical user interface, how you can do some simple coding and perform some basic analysis. So for R Studio, please note that in this case, if you want to write something on this R Studio, if you are writing a script, then we always use the hashtag, this one. And that's how it actually instructs the software not to run that section with that information. So that's why I said that the R Studio or the R software is very interactive, because you can actually add notes to your code to make them more understandable even to someone who has not created the code. So always use the hashtag if you want to write something, to note something, and to ensure that R doesn't execute that part with the hashtag. Like in this case, these are just notes which I was writing in the software. So once you open the R Studio, the first thing, if you want to write any code, obviously would be for you to go to File, and then under this file, you go to New File, then you can click on R Script like that, and it will give you a new script where you can start coding, where you can start doing your analysis. So again, I said you go to File, Then under these, you go to new file, and then you click on the R script. It will give you a new script where you can type your stuff. Now at this point, because we are not importing any data into R, I won't go to how you create the working directory. Maybe we can learn that in the next few days. So I just want to go straight to some basic analysis. We learn a few functions in R and so on. So for this one, let's see, learn some few basic functions of performing descriptive analysis. So the same example which I have shown you, using the main software is what we gonna use in this case. So like I said here, you use the hashtag if you want to denote something, so we can, but then before that, we can also save our script, because when you look at it, it is untitled, it doesn't have any title. So let's save this new script. So again, you go to file, then under this file, you can either click save or save as. Then it will direct you to somewhere in the folder where you want to save it. For my case, I want to save these in R in my documents, where I have R sessions. Where is R sessions? This case. Or maybe let me save it in my data. Do I have, yes, in my data, then I click this folder R sessions, and then I call it this one demo, of just for short form for demonstrations. Demo script, like that. Then I click enter just to save it. Then I said we are learning some basic